your girl. Let me see if I get my folks up in here. Assalamu alaikum. Share the live. Let's see if we can get into it. Mic check, mic check. Could y'all hear the audio when I was playing it? Hey, Chopper. Summer, were you just on a live about 45 minutes ago with Dawn Marie on a panel? I think Divine's Chronicle. Yes. Yes, I was. Is there anyone out there? Hello, hello. Better now. Couldn't hear it all. Huh?
We back. I got a mail just left.
Hey Vera, you couldn't hear it all? Better now. What you was saying? I sound like a robot. What did you hear when I was sounding like a robot? Hey Vera. Let me try this one more again. Why couldn't I comment earlier? You didn't finish my reading, my long comment. If you was on Summer's room, then you couldn't comment because it told you to come to Summer's Lounge Shopper. It was pinned to the bottom of the screen. Hey Diane. You gotta read, baby girl. You gotta read. Where is my sound? I don't have any sound. Can y'all hear that? You
Hey
heard a
y'all,
loud
hey,
truck?
it's your girl Summer, your host
That
with
was
the
my husband truck.
most. And we're here to talk about it. Y'all see the topic pinned? Let me see if I get my folks up in here.
Can you hear that now?
Do, 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 do.
2:15.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, this is a pre-recorded live
Share the live,
of
share
a
the
panel that I
live.
hosted. Yes, good.
Let's
I
see if
used
we
to
can
do
get into
panels
it.
way before this vlogging thing, and I was sharing at nighttime. I'll be sharing some of those panels with you guys. This is a
I'm
really
sharing.
good topic.
Walaikum salam, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Hey, hey, hey.
It's it's based
I'm
around
just sharing
relationships.
out the live right now.
It's based around relationships. You're going to hear a lot of like Islamic references. Is because um that's the audience I was catering to, but it's not just Islam, it's not just Muslims. If you give it a minute and get into it, it'll be a topic you're able to get into, maybe even relate to, give an opinion to. I would love to see some of your feedback, some of your comments from you guys. If you are listening in, I'm telling you, check it out. Please feel free to share this out for your girl. Leave them comments. I will definitely get back to them. I'll probably be, are you double talking? I'll probably be in the comments with you guys from time to time, checking in to see what you think. I'm here for a girl, period. Period. Okay. So y'all enjoy the show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. So y'all enjoy this pre-recorded live and let me know what you think.
Heard that little smart remark you just said.
He said, let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
Share the live, share the live. Hey Alexis, how you doing?
Of course, I got my lovely wife here.
Walaikum
What's
salam.
here?
Hey pretty girl. Hi beautiful. She's so cute. I'm just sharing the live out. Make sure y'all share the live out. Share it on your pages.
Okay.
I tagged the sister that made the comment on your post.
Okay.
I don't know if she got it or not, but put it in your whatever groups you think would grab attention.
Has a lot.
hard for me to see your comments. Make sure y'all share the live. We have a dope topic tonight. This evening. Is it justified for a man not to provide because the wife is not submissive? So I'm gonna read the status that was posted, that was asked by our good sis Sabia, and then we want to get some feedback. Our brother Zay here has something that he wants to say, that he is super proud, that he wants to express, that he's super passionate about, and then we're gonna get into it. So make sure y'all share this live out. If you are in any public groups, especially Muslim ones, please share them, marriage groups, whatever. Get the live out. The more people that come into the chat, the better the dialogue. This light just seems too bright. Assalamu alaikum, So the question is, I'm going to try to put it inside the pin it inside the live in a second. I'll read it to you. The question was asked: if some women don't submit because it's hard for them to trust their husband, would it be correct for a man to not fully take care of his wife and their house because of her behavior? I'm gonna ask it again. If some women don't submit because it's hard for them to trust their husband, would it be correct for a man to not fully take care of his wife and their house because of her behavior? Now I'm finna tag this into the live, so for those who kind of missed it. Oh, where we go? We lost them. This is the question. I'm gonna post it inside the chat. You said yes? Oh man. Hello, Bianca. She said yes, y'all. He's coming back. He got to get his phone situated. Okay, that's cool. I don't see the comment. Okay. So the question, I'm going to pin it here. I pinned the question at the bottom of the live. The topic tonight is, if a woman does not submit because it's hard for them to trust their husband, would it be correct for a man to not fully take care of his wife and their house because of her behavior? We had one person say yes. Aaliyah, would you like to expound on that yes? Would you like to expound on your yes? Why would it be okay for him to not take care of his household because of her lack of submission? All right. Okay, he's back. Oh, let's say I'm unable to add you. Leave completely out of the live day and then come back in. Leave and then come back in. Let's see. Oh, it's still saying I can't add you. It's not letting me add you, Zaid. Did you switch devices? Are you still on your phone? It's not letting me add you. Leave out again, close Facebook completely out, and then come back in again and see if that works. It's saying unable to add you. It's saying unable to add you. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Good evening. How's everyone doing? I am Summer, your host with the most, and we want to get into it. We have a question, and we wanted your opinion. It's actually pinned to the bottom of the live. It's pinned to the bottom of the live. If you want to click on it. How you doing, Brenda? Hello, everyone. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Hi, Brenda. How are you doing this evening? Okay, let me accept Sabia. Let's see if she comes on. If a woman does not submit because it's hard for them to trust their husband, would it be correct for a man to not fully take care of his wife and their house because of their behavior? Now my first question, the first thing that stuck out to me was it's hard for them to trust their husband. Is why is it hard for her to trust her husband? Will be my first question. Why would it be hard for her to trust her husband in the first place? What is causing that? What is causing that wall? What is causing her to put that wall up for her to lack trust? It says adding Sabia, but it says you didn't answer. Walaikum salam. How are you, brother Frederick? We're having some technical difficulties, it seems. How is everyone doing this evening? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Are you guys back? Sevilla or Zayd? Try it now. I don't even see you inside my. It doesn't have next to your name. It doesn't have the It doesn't have the camera thing next to your name anymore. It's gone. You're not coming up as an option to add at all. What did you do? What did you do? Sabia comes up, but you don't come up.
Yeah, I don't know why his phone's not working, but
Sound like him, yeah, I don't know. It still shows me as in it when you first add. There you go. Alhamdulillah.
Because without trust, there is no relationship. So the husband is in the right. I did a TikTok directed at brothers whose wives are Jewish or Christian. It states that the only thing that requires them to enter Islam is if they want to perform Salawat, fast Ramadan, and perform Hajj. Because without trust, there is no relationship. So the husband is in the right. If my question to you, Aaliyah, if that is the state of mind, then why stay married?
it's not. You're seeing this. That's what it is.
Hello, Muhammad.
Yeah. Sound like welcome to Allah the Castle. I'm gonna have to use Sabia's phone.
All right, mashallah. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Don't ask me to, snap my fingers or nothing like that.
All right. All right, let's get into it. We had one person that chimed in. They said that, yes, he's absolutely right for withholding.
You probably have to reread the question to him.
Yeah, because somebody get Asha because she's like doing it.
Stop.
Look at her. She runs the household, so she thinks in her own mind. She thinks she's the boss of everything. No, she does. She's very loud too. You can tell she's, my child.
The question was, if some women don't submit because it's hard for them to trust their husband, would it be the man to not fully take into it? Hi, Amanda.
Let's see what some of the sisters has to say first on this issue.
So only one sister chimed in. She said, "Yeah, he would be right to withhold." It could be evening. I was surprised by her answer. For me, when I read the question, the first thing that stuck out to me, what I would want to ask is it said preventing her from fully trusting him. So what is that that's preventing her from having that trust in him? Is it something that she carried into marriage, or is it something that did to cause her to have a lack of trust in him? Because
the first thing we need to clear up, right, is the question is, why is it hard for her to submit to her husband? And we need to clear up what they like, what that means, because something to submit means total obedience, right? And it doesn't. This is why they have two separate words. The meanings are very different. When you submit to your husband, are you truly submitting to your husband? Or are you submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala solely for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? That's the first thing we need to understand. The second thing we need to understand is husband is totally doing what he's supposed to do Islamically as far as his faith and his taqwa and his leadership, right, with his family in Islam. Right? Does that completely make him a bad person? So we automatically start holding that person in a bad light, and his only shortcoming is that he doesn't pray 5 times a day, or he's forgetful about this, or he's forgetful about that. Right? But it's showing that he's just a human being that needs work, as we all do, right? Yet it's making it seem like he has no effort to try. You understand? So it's not my phone, it's off. So we have to take those people out of the equation, okay? They're not bad brothers. We're not talking about brothers who beat their wives. We're not talking about brothers who are using drugs. We're not talking about brothers who are out there, fornicating. We're not talking about none of those things, right? We're talking about brothers, right, who submission to their Lord has some work that has to be done. That's what we're talking about. Simple and plain. We're not talking about the worst of the worst, okay? Because we already know the answers for that.
Well, are we not talking about the worst of the worst? Has that been established?
Exactly.
Or are you speaking in general?
Well, let's just say this, right? If we're talking about men who beat their wives, we already know the answer.
Right.
He should be left. They should be left.
Okay.
If it's actively using drugs, we already know the answers. Right? Things we already know the answer to, we can't discuss right now.
Okay.
This is common sense.
Okay.
Right? When you're talking about the sisters out there, she's going to the club and she's twerking in the club and selling poom poom, we already know the answers. We don't need to, make something up for something that we know the answers to.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Allah says, when in doubt, do what? What is best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do what is best for us in this comment, right? So you said, why is it that she finds it hard, right, to submit to her husband, right?
Why is it that she finds it hard to trust her husband? Because she gave the answer why she doesn't fully submit. The reason she says she doesn't fully submit is because it's hard for her to trust him. So my question was, why is it hard for her to trust him?
That is a good question. And if the question leads to the answer of because he's not fully submitting, then I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Now, every other answer, I have to hear it before I can even give an answer.
Mm-hmm.
But if it leads to because he's not fully submitting, then I have an answer for that. And my answer is the sister wrong or is she right? What's her responsibility? What's his responsibility? What is he responsible for? What she's responsible for?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see some answers on that. Like, if you don't submit to your husband because he's not fully submitting, who's right or wrong?
If he's not fully submitting to a law,
Right.
I mean, with him not fully submitting, there's a lot that comes with that. Like you said, because there's a lot of women whose husbands cheat, she don't leave them, or they may do this and she don't leave, but each thing her trust gets lower and lower. But my thing is, if you're out doing whatever, you may not be cheating, but you're gambling, you're doing all these things that's taking your family further away from Islam. But the brothers was saying that no matter what the brother is doing, Allah told you to submit, so you should submit, and it doesn't work that way.
Actually, it does, but continue.
It don't. It can't work. Like that's just like the whole going up a mountain thing. The brother could be
I'm sorry. Where does men get that? That's how it goes. That
right.
He's supposed to automatically submit, regardless whether he's doing everything he's supposed to or not. Like, where does that come from?
You can
and I'm gonna help you answer that.
Following a man that's not doing what he's supposed to do can lead you right to the hellfire right along with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna answer that for you, right? This is why I took some of the bad seeds out. Like not submitting totally to the will of Allah, right? Does not necessarily mean that he's leading you to the hellfire. It means he's leading himself because I'm gonna tell you why. Let's take the example of the 4 greatest women in the universe, right? The first one being Maryam, right?
Mm-hmm.
She had faith in her Lord that was unwaverable.
Mm-hmm.
When all the people who knew her, right, spoke about her in the highest esteem, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was unflammable. She couldn't do no wrong until she came up pregnant
Mm-hmm.
with no husband. You understand? She came up pregnant with no husband.
Mm-hmm.
But her obedience to Allah didn't change because she didn't have a husband. Her obedience got stronger. Her faith, her taqwa got stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you what I'm getting at.
I'm listening. I'm trying to see where you're taking that.
Patient for it. Be patient for it. I'm going to give it to you. Be patient for it. Right? And her faith got stronger and she didn't even have a husband. Right? Then she was an example to all women. Let me stop with the facial expressions. Right? She was an example to all women. And she didn't waver one bit. Right? Next is Khadijah. Asiyah, right? The wife of Pharaoh, who tortured her, beat her, persecuted her, for believing in a God other than himself, for worshiping a God other than him, right? He didn't do it. She wouldn't do it. She was unwavered. Her faith in her Lord got stronger and stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
The next was Khadijah, a woman who everyone thought, right, her husband was completely crazy. He was a madman, gone insane, right? And her faith in her Lord and her belief made her support her husband in all his decisions, right? To the point where she sacrificed every penny she had because she was wealthy. She sacrificed all of her heart, right? The point that I'm getting to is this, right? After Fatima, right? Fatima was the fourth one, right? And Fatima, her faith was so strong in Allah that Allah sent down his salams to Fatima. He considered her a friend, right? But she would give away all her possessions to feed the hungry and needy, and not because of her father. It had nothing to do with Brother Ali, her husband. It had nothing to do with none of that. Because her stock was in Allah. These are four women who gave the best example to all women in Islam, all women in creation. They gave the best examples to every single woman ever born or created by the will of Allah. Can't get no better than that. Those are the first four. You know what I mean? There's more than four. There's much more. There's more than 20. But these are the first four. Right? And if you look at the stories and where their faith was with their lords, this is where every Muslim on earth should be trying to emulate these systems, right? They should be trying to practice what these sisters are practicing, right? And when you practice what these sisters are practicing, you're doing much better than you can ever have imagined. And when your husband comes along, right, and faith is wavering, right, this is where you also get to practice what the Rasulullah and his companions has taught all women, right? Her tongue should be moist with the remembrance of Allah to her husband. These are the type of women that men should be, right? Where the tongue and all the actions are moist with the remembrance of Allah, to remind him where he went wrong, to remind him when he's falling short. This is her job, right? This is her job, right? To remind him, not just complain about him, like, you know, like the first wife of Ishmael did when Abraham came. All she had was complaints. That's all she saw was complaints of what they didn't have, right? That's what they saw. We're talking about character, right? We're talking about status of mentality and method and character and taqwa in your heart, right? Because when you have all these things, you're not busy placing the blame on someone else because you're constantly looking inside yourself to see what it is that you're not doing and what you're grateful and what you're not grateful for.
All right. You said a lot just now. So let us stop right here. So because I know Sevilla over there probably just on the edge of her seat. And I also have some questions because
I mean, I just don't see where that fit into this topic.
That's exactly where I'm at. We're on the same page.
I don't see that just went way left because you're talking about one of the mothers that wasn't even married. So that she's important, but she's not important in this topic at all.
Absolutely she is.
It doesn't have anything to do with the question. We're talking about. We're talking about.
You got it.
Hold on. Listen. Wait. Let us talk so then you can respond. You had anything else you wanted to say? Because it sounds like so. When you started off with the four wives, right? The four women. Miriam didn't have a husband, and we're talking about the issue at hand is submitting to a husband whom she lacks trust in. So Miriam has nothing to do with the topic, right? Khadijah, she submitted to her husband fully. She didn't lack trust in him.
Exactly.
The wife of Pharaoh.
Let's not forget she was married to the greatest man,
right?
That ever lived. So,
and then the wife of Pharaoh, she disobeyed him by worshiping her Lord because she knew that was the right thing to do.
Exactly.
And who was the other one that he mentioned? I can't remember the other one.
It wasn't another wife, it was his daughter. We're not talking about their positions with their husband, with the Prophet Muhammad.
I don't know the topic. That those people don't fit the topic is the issue. We're talking about women who lack submitting to their husband because they lack trust in him. They don't fit that category. They didn't lack trust, and they didn't have an issue with submitting due to lacking trust. So they don't fit. The examples you gave is about trusting your Lord and patience. I get that. But that doesn't fit the topic at hand. Like, you can force it in here if you want and say, at the end of the day, it's about obedience to Allah and blah, 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 blah. But that is not the question that is being asked.
Right. So
I beg to differ.
That's my thing. The thing is, like, I understand we should have a level of submission to our husband. But if husband is going to lead us to La La Land or to somewhere where, it's crazy.
Right.
Like, I feel like a lot of brothers feel like a woman, a sister has to do whatever they say, no matter what. Even when
I don't think that.
Okay, I didn't say you. I said a lot of brothers that, you know what I mean. It just doesn't go right. So back to the post,
somebody just asked in a comment. Another sister said, "I was about to ask the same thing. What is the correlation?"
Yeah, it doesn't.
Here's the correlation. Let me give you the correlation, right?
Hey, Hodri.
The correlation is this, right? Is that the reason why I picked the 4 greatest women in the universe, right? Is because only one of these women, right? Only 2 of these women had husbands. 3 of them had husbands, but one of them was the daughter of Rasulullah. One of them was the wife of the Rasulullah. And the other one was the wife of Pharaoh, and Maryam had no husband. So the reason why I picked this, right, is because it was unshattering faith in their Lord, right? It was the character. Right? Let me finish. Let me answer the question.
Let him answer and then chime in. Let's try to let's get it out.
The mentality of the people, you cannot escape, right? The mentality of the brothers and sisters of today's time, right? All we look for, right, is the way to blame someone else for our shortcomings, right? We like to over exaggerate, right? Someone else's responsibility. We become lackadaisical, and we feel very entitled to stuff that we truly don't even deserve, right? So when you correlate the behaviors of people today against the characters of the good Muslim sisters, right, that did things differently, it's a mindset, okay? The first thing I said was, how do you correlate? Why don't you trust your husband? Like Sister Summer said, why don't you trust him? Like, what is he doing, right, that makes you not trust him? You understand what I'm saying? Because just because he might forget a prayer, don't make him a bad Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't make him a bad Muslim. So what is he doing that you're not trusting him? What type of brothers are we discussing? Are we discussing good Muslim brothers who are struggling in the struggle to hold on to the rope of Allah? Or are we talking brothers that are out there that's truly going to the left? That's the question.
That's the question. That's the question. But also, I don't believe that you have to be completely going to the left for it to be an issue. First of all, because for me, if you completely going to the left, marriage ain't even a thing because we're going to be talking about separation. So, you know, there are things in between those two extremes, though, that could cause an issue, that could cause mistrust, that could cause a lack of trust. You know what I'm saying? Before you get to a part where he is completely like just out of whack, so to speak. So, I don't know who asked the question whether they will be willing to give more insight on it. Because that would be my first. For me, that answer would assist me with responding, because that's what first stuck out to me. Her lack of submission is due to her inability to trust him. Why can't she trust him? Is she lacking trust in him because of, like, she brought in old baggage from previous relationships, or has he done some things to cause her to lack trust in him? Because, you know, that would, you know, help me to respond, because it could be anything. Like I said, if it's a complete lack of trust because he's simply far away from Islam, then we talking about separating anyway. Then if he's done things, because he absolutely could be doing things in the marriage that is causing her to not trust him. Maybe his ability to make informed decisions, or, you know, decisions that are going to protect them and make them move forward, you know, is not where it needs to be. Maybe he has made decisions, a lot of decisions back to back, which is causing them to fall instead of rise. Or he has an issue with listening to advice from his wife. Like, you know, because he's big-headed. Some men are big-headed. They just simply won't take your advice because you're a woman and I'm a man and I know better. Well, no, a lot of times women, we know what we're talking about too. So for me, that's the big question. That's the big question, is the why. That's what stuck out to me. Why does she lack trust in him?
Yeah, well, you know, I gotta kind of agree to that, because you know, when Allah created the woman, he created them with a crooked rib, and he says that if you try to fix it, you'll break them, right? And that they're emotional creatures. And usually what that means is that they have a reason to be emotional, right? They're upset about something don't add up to them. Like when you give a woman a task, right? Especially dealing in relationships or children, right? She thinks about everything possible. Like, she plays it in her mind. Like, she thinks about every possible scenario. Like, men don't think like that. Men, they just think straightforward. You know what I mean? You can go this way, you can go that way, you go this way, I'm doing this. Right? Women thinks about it in 1,000 different ways. And guess what? She was suffering until she got where she wants to go. The problem, sometimes she doesn't know how to set it off. Right? And when she becomes that emotional, unstable, emotional creature that Allah and his Rasul talks about. Right? But until then, she be dead on. It be dead on. As long as she stays in control of it, you know what I mean? She's dead on. She's learning when to speak, when to bring it up, how to establish sense. You know what I mean? And she be dead on. You be caught. You can't get around it. You can't think like a woman. You're never going to outthink them as far as how effective and precise lay down these things, these different avenues of approach. Where you, a woman, is this, right? Is that you stay firm, you stay fair, and you stay consistent. Other than that, she gonna get you. So you have to ask a lot of different scenarios when trying to compete with a woman. And I agree with you, right? They think differently. And because of that, right, I'm learning this in my own marriage. Like, every day we learn something new. You know, to give her breathing room. You know what I mean? Allow her to do certain things, and she'll prove a point. But when they come back, they become the creatures, and when they start acting sporadic, it's your own fault. You can't blame yourself as the husband. You know what I mean? So I agree with you 100% on that. But like I said, we had a person who posted the question, why can't she trust him?
Right.
Right? What type of men are we talking about?
That's a big elephant in the room. Let's let Miss Peace chime in. What would you like to add to this dialogue? Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Please make sure you guys share the live, share the live, share the live. The question that we are discussing is pinned at the bottom of the live. If you open it up, you can read it. And please feel free to chime in the comments. If you want to come on to the live, you can send a request. Just make sure when you come on, please use correct language and make sure you don't have any music or TVs in your background. All right, go ahead, Ms. Peace.
Oh, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I see both sides of it, and I was like agreeing, and I'm taking insight from what the brother was saying. In addition, also to looking at both aspects inside of, the man's role and the woman's role. Do you understand? The question is, and I'm looking over at what you posted, holding provisions. Now we understand in the marriage, that man is the head of the household. That's the alpha. And I say it like that because I'm following an alpha, as the leader in my household. So he can look at it from an aspect like, look, Allah gave me this position. I'm supposed to be the one that's supposed to come in, institute, put out this way for my family, the way Allah has laid to implement what he has to implement, which I totally get and I totally respect. And the issue at times that we sometimes with the female at times, you brought up the whole issue as far as respect and being somebody, and another issue that comes out, a lot of females use a lens and they don't look at it full view. They want to go ahead and rebel, and sometimes it speaks from a little position of not seeing the big picture, but every whim sometimes they take to rebel, to go against, something they may feel that and wholeheartedly that the man has come in that she feels like, hey, I'm gonna challenge that. You understand? So we're dealing with these type of women nowadays, and we already can see in the background where that's leading to, and it's becoming a overflow of hormones. Some people are not playing their position or actually put in their place or whatnot. Instead of taking the examples, the beautiful examples, from the Quran and from the Sunnah, it has become this twisted, ideology of I'm going to take over, and because they have seen and have even experienced, that role, like the men have taken on the women's role, the simp mode, and the woman has to step in and take on the alpha role. And it's really an imbalance. You know what I'm saying? This is the issue from an imbalance. So this is just like this is the result of a whole bunch of dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we're experiencing nowadays. It's the only thing is people are bringing it to the forefront of things that have been hidden, tucked in the closet for a long period of time that people are not touching. And unfortunately, we're looking within our own communities and we're trying to draw parallels with it. And people are still have this question mark because, well, not only that, we're also dealing with a cultural part of it, dealing with our culture and trying to merge these, and everybody is pulling from every type of direction, dealing with it culturally, dealing with it gender-wise, and instead of sometimes looking and I say this to say this because I'm coming from this lens. I'm seeing points culturally, I'm seeing points gender-wise, and a lot of times what's being misconstrued is people are throwing Quran and Sunnah and saying this is what it is. So there's a lot of confusion because people are not really understanding Quran and Sunnah and passing all these cultural norms into it. So you're like, for the person coming from the outside looking in, they're like, what's going on? You know? A lot of people are not educated, not coming from an educated standpoint of everything that's happening or everything that's explained because there's a lack of education there. And nowadays, because there's a lack of education, I'm going to go with what my girlfriend's seen, what I seen over there, what I seen on TV, and I'm trying to merge this into what's actually happening and trying to put my 2 cents in it to whatnot. We have to we have to relearn what goes into the roles of the man and the woman. What is the assignment? What does the assignment include? You know what I'm saying? There's just so much entangled into this topic, and it's bigger than what it is. And when I think about provisions, I look at it from a standpoint. Like a lot of women nowadays, and we're looking at, there's different examples. Oh, I have this amount, I have this degree, I have this. Because I have this, should I even stand and even listen to what my husband has to say? Obey what my husband, has told me. And I know from a standpoint, my husband, if he is following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he is someone of the sunnah, he's gonna follow the sunnah and he's gonna follow these instructions that Allah has given us to make our lives better. You know what I'm saying? How could I sit here as a woman and challenge that if I also am a practicing Muslima?
So that was a big question. That was a question that came up. How does he expect her to submit if he isn't submitting? Was something that came up in the original dialogue. Let's see what Brother Haji would like to add. And Brother Frederick, I saw your request. As soon as someone comes in, I'll add you up. Your floor.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a good topic, and I think that this whole thing about trust is like, I think we get into, in this day and age, we get into these relationships. People are not trusting each other because they're listening to the societal norms, right? They come into the marriage not trusting. The brother didn't even do nothing. Women to think that their husband is insignificant, whether he has a degree, a good job, or whatever he provides is not enough. We live in a culture of it's not enough. The husband could be a trucker making 6 figures. Oh, he's never home. The husband could be a doctor. Oh, he works too much. He could be an entrepreneur. Oh, he missed my birthday. It's always a problem in this society. Why? Because society has gave sisters a sense of you don't need him, right? I travel the world for a living for production. I'm going to Kenya in 2 days. The women in other countries, because they don't have these governmental assistance and these stipends and all of this stuff, or these peoples in the court system to tell you that your man ain't this, or these images and these shows that we ingest, social media, we live on this stuff. There's a constant reminder that your man isn't enough. So when it comes to trust, sisters don't trust brothers just because they're brothers. Sisters don't trust brothers just because where he from. Oh, he from Philly? Oh, he ain't no good. He from Newark? Oh, he ain't no good. Yeah. Come on, sis. How many times we get? Come on, it's this reality, right? So society has conditioned us to not trust each other from the jump. Yo, sisters are waiting for the problem. They like waiting for a problem. I know he gonna do something. He gonna try to get another wife. He gonna lose his job. He gonna do something. Yeah,
that's why I asked the question. I said, is her issue stuff she brought into the marriage? She already had this mindset, or is it actually something that he has done? Because it is something
he already has this mind. Listen, no. Listen, I'm telling you,
no, you making an assumption.
is coming into the marriage, right? Her community, her mom, her sister, her friend, right? They probably don't like him. They probably think she should get another guy. They probably think she's settling. They probably think he's too young or he's too old or he don't make enough money. So they're giving her these impressions like, girl, you better tie your camel. You better ask for that 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 diary. How did you know, and that builds the mindset of, oh, I don't trust him. Oh, I don't trust him. I remember one time I had a problem with my wife, right? And my father, Rahimullah, he sat us down. He was counseling us, and she said, "I don't trust him." He said, "Okay, let's unpack that. You don't trust him that he gonna feed you every day? You don't trust that he gonna keep them lights on? Yeah. You don't trust him that he gonna take care of you? Yeah. No. So don't say you don't trust him. Say you don't trust him in this particular area." So our language and how we deal with each other, we like to do blanket statements. And I took some notes while you was talking. And let's talk about the trauma bonding that sisters do. Sisters have, and I'm talking to sisters because this is what we talk about, why she don't trust the man. A sister can have a good man, and because her sister's going through some crap, she'll bring that crap into her house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sister would be like, oh man, it'll go from a conversation from like, yo, Sister Betty, man, her husband, man, he ran over her life savings, man, damn. And that sister was like, let me make sure I do. You get what I'm saying? And it's a lot of trauma in the ummah that sisters are getting together and just passing it from one person to the next person, even if it doesn't affect them. Even how many sisters right now hate polygyny? I could say everyone, right? No, right?
A lot of
And even
sisters,
the
definitely
sisters,
a lot of
right? And even the sisters who are benefiting from polygyny are scared to even say something because of the ridicule of other sisters. They hide it. They say, you know what? I ain't gonna show. I'm living good. This is a blessing from Allah, but I ain't gonna say nothing because I know the people that I'm cool with. When I get with them, we gotta bash it. And this is the problem. Going back to trust. We need more healthy conversations of sisters who have good husbands, who are doing good, to be vocal so we can change the narrative, because there are some sisters who do trust their husbands. There are sisters, brothers who do the right thing every single day. But why do we spend so much energy talking about the people who don't?
See, you be speaking in a general sense, right? And I don't debunk that these things go on. But when y'all speak from these places, I'm not familiar with these type of people that y'all focus on. Like the friends that I have, just because she's going through something, we don't feed off that. If we have some good, we give her good. We give positive standpoints. We're not just jumping off of each other because she's going through this and I'm bringing this here. Like, those are not the people I'm accustomed to dealing with. So I don't debunk that these things happen because the conversations keep coming up, right? They keep coming up. They keep happening. So it has to be a thing. But these are not the type of people I'm accustomed to being with. These are not the people that I deal with.
Let me say this real quick, please, because the brother Haji, I forget the sister's name, right? But we all, me, her, and him, all basically the same thing, right? But we're wording it different. See, he came from a society point of view, and I agree with him 100%. She came from a cultural standpoint, right? I agree with her. See, what's happening is what we do in this society is that we exclude everything else just to prove our point. Forgetting these things that we're excluding help make the decisions that we make when we make them. But they're irrelevant when it's time to point the finger at something. They become irrelevant. Like, how many of us watch these talk shows, right? These reality shows about these opinions that, hold on, check this out. Here's this, that opinions that people who don't even believe as you believe, they don't even worship as you worship. They don't even respect your way of life.
Mhm.
Have opinions about what we should be doing as people in society. So when we start excluding this and excluding that, the only thing we're basing our opinion on is the opinions
Of others.
we watch on TV and social media.
So that's why I said what I said. I'm not debunking that what he is talking about, you talking about, even she's talking about happens. I'm pretty sure they happen. But people speak about it in this grand way. And what I'm saying about myself is I'm not accustomed to the circles I hang with, that I have personal interactions with and experiences. And those are not my experiences. I'm not debunking them. I'm saying they're not my experiences. So to me, it's like, that's wild.
How do you
Okay.
fix it?
Okay, I am coming from a standpoint. I totally understand, because I can't relate to a lot of stuff, because you're right. You're not around certain people. You're within a circle, so you are going to relate to certain situations by being surrounded by certain people who have been in the situation or have heard, or it's off a hearsay, you know what I'm saying? And then we have the poster situations that everybody can feel, like in the scope of polygyny. Everybody's going to gravitate and grab this, grab that. Somebody might have a personal experience, or might gravitate to someone who's been in that experience, whether they had a positive interaction with it, or they've had a negative. And I daily I look at some things, and I like kind of trying to draw my own conclusion from it, like, dang, like I could be against certain things, because my feelings towards something, it might have its benefit, like it might have its benefit, like, wow, that would be beautiful if that came together. And I do see the hikmah behind it. And then I do see the negative. I'm like, dang, it's unfortunate that, that had to happen or whatnot. For example, you come from a standpoint, you see, where it would be beneficial for someone to come in line with coming in line with a brother that wants to have who already wants to mindset be in a polygynous situation, and how that would benefit the other sister if she has like different, health conditions and things that would play a part. And the brother says, you know what, I'm willing to work with you. You know what I'm saying? But the sister's like, oh no, it gotta be on my standpoint. But you look at it like, this person is willing to take you, that another brother would have been like, heck no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not willing to work with you or whatnot. And you shut them out because of a certain situation. And you're like, where are we going to find that? When is that going to work together? You understand what I'm saying? So we got a lot of things, like, to unpack with that. And also, we come in line with the mental, like, you have beforehand, before marriage, before the talks or whatnot, and I see it all day. And I raised this topic with you. There's a lot of people that's getting married that don't need to get married, but this whole fairy tale of a marriage has sunken in and attached itself like a parasite. And I say that because we have, okay, within is a beautiful thing. We look to marriage, and it starts at marriage and going on, because we got to produce things afterwards. But because of, like you said, the trauma and the trauma bonding, okay, I'm attached to this situation because of what I heard. And if you're girl, let me tell you what this sister, or what I went through, or what I heard this sister, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We take that into our own lives or whatnot. And that could even come into our own lives, because somebody's thinking about, oh, I came from this situation. I might not be all together, but because, my dean tells me whatnot, I'm going to take just that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna present myself and I'm gonna get married. So it just starts this whole cycle. You know what I'm saying? And I put that with what we're talking about because we might be, you know, in talks with a rebellious spirit and wonder why he or she been married like 16 times. And the guise of everything is, in this dean, instead of fornicating, I'm gonna get married. So I'm gonna get married to the trauma again, and I'm gonna present myself without really taking care of that, without taking that counseling for that. So I'm reintroducing this same trauma back into the community. We just think it's just with that one person, but that one person knows another person. Like, we a community. It's just gonna recycle itself within the community. So we gotta take that. And it starts to fester within ourselves and within our peers and our dealing. So it's like, that's another topic too. When are we going to address that before we get into the other stuff? Because this ain't something that's just brand new. We're talking about obedience, provisions, or whatnot. And there's some other stuff in the background that ain't really been dusted off the furniture. So, I mean, when we talking about provisions, we talking about the man and his role, and we also talk about the woman. And this is an important if I'm going off, forgive me, but it's a perfect topic because this is something that I've just witnessed. You understand what I'm saying? It's something that I just witnessed, and I'm like, dang, A and B and C and all these things are coming together, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. You know what? In this society, right, that we live in, right, as being members of this society, we have to remember where we are. We have to remember who we are. But before we can even understand any of that, right, we have to first understand the nature of the place that we are. We have to understand the history where we so that we can better understand ourselves. You know what I mean? And how we begin to think, you know. And that has been proven, you know, over time, over history, just keeps proving that over and over again about this place called America, you know, and the things that it does to indoctrinate you with its belief systems. You know, I gotta say this, like, and I hate to go off topic, but I gotta go off topic just to say what I'm saying, right? Okay, when we got our first black president, everybody got happy. Right? Oh, Barack Obama, you know, black president, this and that, right? But then he turns around and does what? He legalizes same-sex marriages. So, in essence, what did he do? He put us in a worse position. So now you got legalized same-sex marriages all over the place, and now America is trying to reach out to other countries, right, to make them part of same-sex marriage. The point that I'm getting at is this, right? The point is, right? We forget how indoctrinated we're becoming when the simplest little thing makes us take out so much important stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that we don't even realize that we're taking it out because we don't practice anything. You know what I mean? So we just become a patriot with that has nothing to do with who we claim we are, and that's Muslims. You know what I mean? And the way we think, the way we teach our children, and the way we're supposed to live. You know, how we with our right hand and clean ourselves with our, you know, simple stuff like that. You know, and it's just that simple. It's going to be hard for you to see that, right? Because you ain't thinking that way. You're thinking, you know, this has nothing to do with the topic. This has nothing to do with this, and this has nothing to do with that. But your mind state has everything. How you think and how you see and how you be that store up your information has everything to do with. See, when you accept everything, right? by people that don't believe you believe, this is the outcome. We have conversations about things that normally would be relevant in a ummah for Muslims that was all, trying to live an Islamic life.
See, my thing is my issue with blanket statements and generalizing is because, and it might be just because of what I'm accustomed to, right? I often wonder, like, if these things that we use in these topics, when we say that these are the issues, these grand statements that we make, are those things that people are speaking on? Are those really the rule, or are those situations exceptions? Like, are these people y'all speaking on that behave this way and that way? Like, is it that many of them?
Yes.
When we put them against those who don't have those issues, like, I don't like to, like, when we talking about this one topic right here, right? The question that was asked about these two individual people, like, is the issue because Alila, is the issue in this scenario because this woman that we are pointing a finger at brought in these issues and these traumas from her upbringing and her community? Or is there actually an individual situation where there is some legitimate things going on within their marriage where her husband has possibly done something to cause her to lack trust? It is not something that she made up in her mind because of what she was surrounded by or accustomed to. So when we have these conversations, I can't get down with, like, a lot of times we get into generalizing, and like I said, like, I don't debunk that these things absolutely have to be going on. I know that there are issues as a society and things like that. But when we talk about individual problems, like, is it the society issues, or is there actually something going on within that household that is causing the problems? Like, and it's not something that was brought from the outside. Stop texting my phone.
It could be both.
It's both. I really do. I think in certain situations, there are things going on in certain households. I mean, I've been involved with brothers that was actually doing things that was so far to the left that the Ummah, back when I was living in New York and Brooklyn, that the Ummah had to send a team of brothers up in there to straighten things out. You know what I mean? And they got straightened out by will or by force. You know what I'm saying? I mean, situations like that. When I lived in Philly, I lived in Philly, by some Muslims that was like, yeah, I had to ask.
No, absolutely. I know why people come to Philly a lot of times, because they think of, the numbers here are marvelous when it comes to Muslims. But I be like, why y'all come here? Like, there's a lot of them, but there's a lot of ratchetry up in the
I just wanted to live in a place where, there were so many Muslims. And when I forgot, when you're not living there, really, you forget that Muslims are human beings, right? Forget Muslims make mistakes too, right? Things that you forget, right? You know Muslims by their name. Why? Because when you start pointing the finger, you don't know nobody's name. You just say Muslim. I mean, everybody, whether they're good Muslims or bad, and that situation, there's something going on in the home, and there's definitely something wrong with a society where you don't get involved with who we are, where we come from, and which direction. A lot of people don't want to know. You don't know your past. You have no idea which direction you're trying. And
I just think a lot of times we get caught up in painting everybody with that brush of societal issues. Just like people will be like, how'd you study it? Oh, you from Philly? Oh, they ain't no good. They automatically mark you as this issue, not even giving you a chance to show, like, no, that's not me. Like, I get you got a bad label, but that's not everybody. Like, one thing will happen and then the whole community is brushed as a disease. Like, and I like to take things case by case. So, like, yes, I know that it happens and it's going on, but I'm like, every situation that is brought to these topics can't be societal. It can't be, oh, it's her fault. And a lot of times these conversations direction go, it's her fault. She's bringing these things in. No, we got to look at their individual situation and figure out exactly what's going on and figure out like what the actual problem is. Like I just don't like when we paint things. We take these societal issues and just use the brush and paint everything is that way. I can't get down with it. I like to, if we talk about these two people, let's focus on these two people. Let's not tell them their issues is coming from our thousands of years of slavery or our westernization. Like, no, what's going on with these two actual people?
Well, I will say this.
Robert, relax.
I'm going to try to find it down. My wife made a very valid point, right? Like,
yeah, where'd she go?
You're supposed to be submissive to your husband. I get that. But submissive does not mean total obedience, because obedience means one thing and the word submissive means another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, you know, I think that a wife should be submissive to her husband up until the point where, you know, it becomes life-threatening to them in the present, like, right? And I think that when they become so far away from the
Oh,
dean,
Haji, mute yourself.
it would be so far away from the dean that it becomes a sin for her to continue to follow. You know what I mean? Like, there's a major difference. You know, like, if your husband telling you to go right and lead you off the cliff, and your wife says, no, sweetheart, we should go left. Left is going to lead up the mountain into safety. And she knows better, right? And she's 100% sure, and she's behind the wheel, then she follow her instincts on that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, like, you got to be sure. You know what I mean? Of what you decide. And if you got a woman that's coherent, rational thinking, you know what I'm saying? And y'all ain't fighting at the time, you know what I mean? Where, you know, a lot of different things happening. It's just a normal day and this incident happened. He says, go right. She said, no, go left. Because she goes to work this way every day. She knows what's right. She knows she goes down this road every day to go to Walmart. You know what I'm saying? What's happening? Father, you got to trust her.
Right.
Right. So I think it can happen both ways.
Yeah,
I think
now you got a wife that just like to nag and she just want to be right, even if she's wrong. That's different.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer in some situations. You know what I mean? There's a right situation, there's a wrong situation. So you know how to trust her. You know what? And my wife gave me a very valuable lesson. Like, you know, you have to trust them in some decision making too. That's why sometimes, like, when you got kids, especially when you got stepkids, I don't get involved. Whatever she said, gotta go. You know what I mean? You're not gonna draw me out in that. You know why? Right? Because you're just trying to separate the two. You know what I mean? When we flowing together as a river only flows in one direction. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the way we got to flow in that direction. Because if you start going downstream and your tadpole is swimming upstream, there's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all be on the same page. Kids are playing for that baby real quick.
Now, I'm going to let my wife speak.
Yeah, where's she at? I want to hear what she got to say. Because we be on the same page.
Yeah, I'm going to give her the phone. Assalamu alaikum.
Let me hear what you got to say.
I don't really have much to say because my head hurt now, and seemed like everyone went off the topic of, besides you, everyone else went off the topic of what we were actually talking about. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, it's a bad thing where people try to always bring up when a sister complain about something, they always want to bring up her upbringing or how she's an American woman or this and that, instead of asking, like, trying to see, okay, well, why are you saying this? You know what I mean? Don't generalize all of us. Just like brothers don't like to be generalized, because there's some trifling, just like there's some trifling women, there's some trifling brothers out there. You know what I mean? So like you said, it's not always the sister's upbringing. No. It's not always that. Sometimes her husband is just is a not so good person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
we got to stop sweeping things under the rug and actually ask questions, find out information.
Because it's easy to say, oh, well, it's her upbringing, or she didn't have a man in her house, or she didn't do this, she didn't do that. Then to check the brother that's doing her wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? So, but anyway, this time it just went. It went way off, and I'm like, I'm sitting here, but see now, if I kept trying to intervene, I would have looked like the bad wife or this. But it's like I gotta keep him in line because he went way off.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect, but the sister went way off. You know what I mean? Like everyone went way off and went went all the way to India. Seemed like, and we here in America, like so. But yeah.
It'd be them broad brushes. It'd be the broad brushes. Like,
as far as the question,
the world. I can't.
As far as the question, should a brother not pay the bills because his wife is not? No, obviously he should still pay the bills because just like with anyone, it's hard. Just like with anyone, you're still supposed to maintain those rights or whatever because you also got to live there too. That's another thing that people got to your children got to live there. You still got to live there. And just because a woman is not doing something, this is why Allah put the men over the women. Like I keep seeing a post on Facebook, men cannot match women's energy. You cannot match my energy. You know what I mean? Because we all can't be emotional and then what are we?
Where's the balance?
Why the men is over the women?
What's your response to the actual question, Haji? Do you agree that he should stop paying the bills?
What happened?
So I wanted to hear your actual answer to the question. The original question was, if a wife is not submissive to her husband because, hold on, wait, because I don't want to misquote the question. It said, if a woman does not submit because it's hard for them to trust their husband, would it be correct for the man to not take care of the wife in their household?
So the question is, if she's not doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told her to do.
Because she doesn't trust him.
Because she doesn't, whatever reason, she's not doing it. Should he still pay for her living and upkeep and take care of her?
Yeah, should he still take care of his wife and his household?
Personally, I think that if marriage is a duality, it's reciprocity, right? If the brother is not getting anything out of the marriage, then a conversation in Islam, there is steps that you should take to get to a solution, right? So if she's not doing what she's not supposed to do, you should contact her wakil, her family, etc., and get them involved so they can talk to her. If that doesn't work, then you can give her a talaq, which is the divorce for 3 months, a separation, or and go from there, in hopes that Allah will change her heart and Allah will change her mind. But I wouldn't suggest any man to stop paying the bills on any circumstances, because Allah did not say pay bills when you're happy, pay bills when you're sad. You have to provide, protect on every circumstance, right? So a man shouldn't stop doing what Allah told him to do, because that's his agreement with Allah. That's not his agreement with the sister. She's going to have to answer to Allah for whatever she's not doing. So the brother shouldn't get himself in trouble by stop doing what he's supposed to do. He should continue doing what he's supposed to do, right? And also take the right steps to fix his situation. So if a sister is not, whether she don't trust him, she mad at him, whatever, she's not doing her part, then a conversation needs to be held, and they need to come to a common, peaceful agreement on how to move forward in Islam. But if I had a son and this was happening to my son, and he said, Dad, should I still pay the mortgage? I will say yes. Continue, because you live there too. Your kids live there too, right? So everybody got to suffer? No. Let her, if she wants to fight with Allah, let her fight with Allah, right? If you want to fight with her, you know what I'm saying? That's like if I had a daughter and she said, well, my husband, he's mean or he's this or he's that. I ain't cooking and cleaning. I said, no. You do what Allah told you to do. You maintain that household. You be a shepherd of his stuff. His inconsistencies or his faults, he got to deal with that with Allah. Or we can deal with that as a family. We can have a sit down, right? So I think sometimes in the Black community, we lack the family structure. So a lot of us don't have that outlet of, let me go to her uncle, let me go to her father, let me go to her, and we don't have patience. We lack patience. I got 3 wives. 3. Everybody know that, right? I got an Arab wife, a West Indian wife, and a Black wife. I'm always in deliberation and consultation. every day, sis, every day is a halakha. Every day. Listen, wallahi, this morning, may Allah be my witness, I had an argument with my wife. We had a big sit down. And we good now. We good.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm about to travel to Kenya for a production for 3 days. My other wife is mad because it's on her days. So she's not mad, but she's in her emotions.
Right.
She's like, why you gotta travel?
Right.
So do I stop paying bills because they stress it because of the stress?
Right.
Do I stop? No. It's what we say. Men, we are a degree higher than sisters. Not saying we're better, but Allah made us a degree so we can deal with the emotions. I don't want my wives to be men. I want them to cry. I want them to be emotional. I want them to get jealous. I love it. Listen, hey,
Those
it is
are
what it
good
is.
signs from a woman. When she don't do those things, that's when it's an issue.
Yeah. I was just in an argument today. We were arguing silly. I don't know topic. This is funny. We were arguing, right? Because she wants more affection. Look at the sister's face. Look. She said, Haji, I know you Haji Hassan. I need more affection, right? I need you to hold me, love me, touch me, caress outside of the bedroom, of course. I need that, right?
Just intimacy, just general.
I need it.
That's another good topic. Yeah, that we need to do. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So my initial response was like, I went into the man mode. What you talking about? I paid these bills. See this light? This light on.
You be
See this
playing.
coffee? What you talking about, right? But her thing was her love. I've been married for them for 6 years.
Love language.
I'm still learning their love language. So she's changed. Her love language was different 5 years ago than it is now. We changed. So did your wives perform Hajj yet? No, not yet, inshallah. Next year. So anyway, my problem was not the issue was just communication. So when you put the ego down, you're like, you know what? All right, I'll work on that, inshallah. And then I said, well, I have a problem with you. What's your problem with me? Well, listen. Oh yeah, you gotta be ready for the tit for tat. You gotta have it. You gotta have it right in the chamber. But anyway, what I'm trying to explain to you is that marriage is patience. Marriage is true patience with your spouse, and this is a lifetime journey. A lot of us get married for a sprint or for sex or for temporary desires. And we gotta know we're gonna have days when I don't want to look at you. It's days that I don't want to look at them. It's days that they can't stand my guts. But we have to have that commonality that we're Muslim, we have patience, and yeah. But the intimacy part outside of the bedroom is very important.
Super important.
Talk about because our fathers didn't show the boys that. They didn't show the boys those early examples of how to be. And I'm learning that as a man in my 30s, learning how important that is. So some sisters, that's even more important than paying the mortgage and paying the bills.
Especially when they can do it herself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm on my way to prayer. But brothers need to still pay the bills. Don't get petty. Don't be petty. If she don't trust you, 9 times out of 10, we dumb. You probably did something. You probably did something to make her not trust you.
Mm-hmm.
You probably got on Instagram, texting.
Put a heart on a picture.
Got a heart on the picture. You got a little girl you caught in a little side chick. Listen, it happens. I'm not saying this is wrong. It happens,
Right.
But Allah gave women something, and I'm gonna end off this. He gave women the gift of intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest with your wives because they know.
They're going to know.
They
always find out.
No. They're going to. It's guaranteed. They know if you're mad. They know if you missed a lot. They know if your boss is tripping. They know if you're hungry, and they know if you're caught in another system.
Mm-hmm.
So don't act like they dumb when they bring it up to you. Just sit down, be a man, and say, yes, this is what I want to do, and work through it. A lot of men forget that women have intuition, and it's real. It's real. So, alhamdulillah, this is a great talk. But talk about the intimacy. The intimacy stuff is very important.
Thank you for chiming in.
Yeah, definitely. Inshallah.
Brother Haji,
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Now, she did have a disclaimer up when she put this up. By no means is it okay for a woman to stop submitting to her husband because she lacked some type of trust. Y'all need to be having some type of conversations, just as Haji said, like there is steps that you take to try to make resolve. And for me personally, if I'm gonna stop submitting, it's because I'm on my way out the door. All right, this ain't working, we not coming to a common ground. So unless y'all talking about exiting left, you need to play your role. He need to play his role. And if y'all not gonna play your roles, then y'all need to play your roles outside, by separating. Because in the end, we all gotta answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what we do. We responsible for what we do. But so that was the topic. Unless anybody else had anything they wanted to add.
I just want to add one thing.
Oh, hold on. Brother Frederick, did you still want to join? Did you still want to add some endpoint? Go ahead, I'm listening to it.
Okay, I just wanted to add one thing, and it's totally way off topic. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It had nothing to do with what we're talking about, right? Just recently I started using CMOS, right? And I had some illnesses, and I gotta tell you, right, that after started studying about the qualities of CMOS and purple CMOS and gold CMOS and using CMOS, right, myself, I realized that, they had some great benefits. And I just wanted to share that with people that we started ingesting these things, into our systems on a daily basis, right, that we'll see how much better you'll feel in a very short period of time. So right now what I have is I'm separating my CMOS in 4-ounce increments, right? And I got my blackberries, my blueberries, and my raspberries, and I'm gonna fuse this stuff together while making slam to make infused fruit CMOS gel, so I can take spoonfuls every day and help better myself. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. Y'all should be doing the same thing.
CMOS is a great vitamin. It's packed with a bunch of nutrients. I used to take it. I need to get back into it. You feel a difference once you allow it to get into your system.
Like I said, I buy by we get it, and alhamdulillah, Brother Hakeem actually sent me my first CMOS, and it's something that I'm never gonna let go of. I'm not. I'm gonna just keep on going with it, and I want to share that. The other thing I just wanted to say is thank you for hosting this. I think it was an amazing topic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't think that nobody gave a right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a topic that we can probably sit down and have for another 5-6 years.
Well, we ain't done yet because we got the brother. He got something he want to chime in on.
Let the brother go ahead and then we'll come back.
That's all. Yeah. As I see you in TikTok and everything. Okay. I'm going to start. My response. Okay. Every
you break
person
up
have,
real bad.
this thing they have. Okay. I'm not going to say submission.
You breaking up real bad. We can't hear you. You like a robot.
I'm not going to say the woman.
Yeah, his mic gone.
Brother Frederick, we couldn't understand you. You was like a robot. Maybe turn your Wi-Fi off or something and then come back. Because we couldn't.
Hey guys, it's your girl Summer, live and present. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I know this was a little bit different. I just wanted to display some of the panels that I used to host prior to me becoming a full-time vlogger. Panels is something that I have been putting together for. I had been doing panels for a while before starting to vlog. And I mentioned it the other day. I want to kind of get back into it. Finding content creators and supporters that wouldn't mind getting on a panel discussing certain topics. I'm going to try to get that back in motion. And typically what I do, I'm going to reiterate what I said the other night, is I will post things, maybe a snippet, statuses and things like that to get engagement throughout the day. And then we would go live. There will be a flyer letting everyone know prior to us going live, for everyone to know the topic and be prepared. So you guys look out for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's different for a lot of you guys because a lot of it was Islamic based. This gave you a little snippet into my religious world and also who I am as a person. The way that I speak, the way that I'm passionate about things, when I have a certain point that I'm trying to convey, I'm like that across the board. It's not like that with one specific person. I don't pick and choose. This is just who I am. It's who I've always been. If you have any questions about what you heard, please feel free to drop them in my inbox or in the comment section. And when I see them, I will try to answer them for you. And with that, I bid you all a good night. And I'll see you guys later on today, I guess. Good night. Well, I'm not really leaving. I'm going to play something else, but it's not going to be live. It's not going to be audio. It's just going to be something relaxing. So y'all sit back and enjoy the show.